Crashes, drama, and the resurgence of Aston Martin. Welcome back to Fog Racing. It is time to do the Imola recap. Obviously, start the European season here in F1, first European race of the campaign. And upgrades have been made. Ferrari, 11th and 12th. By God, that is brutal. Kimi Antonelli, home Grand Prix, literally from just down the road here in Imola, 13th. You've got Yuki Tsunoda binning it in dramatic style, rolling the car. I mean, it didn't look that bad. And then once you saw the replay, it was like, damn, that's bad. Pretty lucky to walk away without any form of injury. And then Franco Colapinto also bidding it in that Q1. But let's begin with Q1. So the five drivers that went out were Lawson, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Berman, and Tsunoda. Like I said, Colapinto and Tsunoda both having massive crashes. Tsunoda's was bigger. He flipped over. That's going to be the talking point here, of course. But then this caused a bit of drama because Berman crossed the line and they couldn't really tell whether or not his lap should count or not due to the red flag. And it was just a case of, well, is he going to go through for Gabriel Bortoleto? 10 minutes went past, and by God, this seemed like the longest 10 minutes of your life. They didn't decide, and then Sauber were like, well, we can't be arsed waiting any longer, and sent Gabriel Bortoleto out. And then it's almost like the FIA turned around and went, well, you know what? That's made our mind up for us. Bortoleto, you're through. Berman, you can get your car now. And it's just a bit of a mess. I mean, like, who's leading it? You know what I mean? Like, have it clearly written in the rules. Like, looking at it, I think Berman's lap should have stood. Because the red flag appeared to me, it didn't come out until you went over the checkered flag. And then you saw the big flashing red light. So I don't understand that. Q2 though, no crashes in Q2. Obviously, Colapinto couldn't take part. He finished 15th, and it was Bortoleto. But then the three ahead of him, Kimi Antonelli. I mean, home race for Ferrari, and it's a home race for him. Who's obviously did the worst drive here? For me, it's Ancelotti every day. Antonelli every day of the week because his teammate got third, right, and he's got 13th. With Ferrari, I mean, there is the genuine case that they're not even the fourth fastest team anymore. Right? There is a case that you could put Williams above them. You look at Miami, Williams looked a lot quicker than Ferrari. And I know it's one qualifying session, right? But Aston Martin have went from being literally the slowest car on the grid to looking really good. They could just switch on the medium tyres and while everyone was going on softs. And Alonso and Stroll got 5th and 6th in Q2, and that knocked out Leclerc and Hamilton. Ferrari, honestly, there's no point in them even worrying about this season. Even if they rocked up, right, at Monaco and beyond and had the fastest car for the rest of the year, I'd argue the gap's too big. I would. I just think it is too big. But they're not even going to do that, so they don't need to worry. But that took us into Q3. Gasly 10th, Hadjar 9th, Stroll 8th, Albon 7th, Sainz 6th, and Alonso 5th. So Aston Martin... they were promising a big package this weekend. People were like, well, what's the point? You know, you're not going to just focus on 2026. That's where it really matters. That's when Adrian Newey can do his damage. But I don't know if Adrian Newey, right, has had anything to do with this upgrade. But would it surprise me that the first upgrade this year, produced by Adrian Newey, has made Aston Martin go from like literally the slowest car on the grid to competing with like the likes of Williams as best of the rest? No. It doesn't, and the proof is the fact that Lance Stroll's 8th. You know, Alonso can produce a moment of brilliance, even in a wheelie bin, but I think the fact that Lance Stroll's 8th tells me that Aston Martin's definitely whipped out a decent performance here, but I think Williams especially would be disappointed because they looked a lot closer to the top four than what this might suggest, but then Q3 came along and Piastri from Verstappen, from Russell, from Norris kind of just blew the rest away. Like I think in Q2 the top 10 were covered by 3 temps, but obviously the midfield don't really have that. They don't have the ability to just find like 7 temps out of nowhere, and the top teams do, whether that's sandbagging or whatever. But yeah, Lando Norris, P4, Oscar Piastri took provisional pole. Verstappen took it, then Piastri took it from him, then he ended up on top. I think if we want a title fight to happen this season, we need Piastri to stop, riding off into the sunset. Lando Norris, I've been saying this for weeks and months almost. I don't think he's cut out to win a world title, and he's qualifying 4th when his teammate's getting pole, and the only constellation there is for Norris is Max Verstappen's on the front row with Piastri, so maybe that'll spell a bit of drama, but there is potentially rain tomorrow. Going to be a good battle for best of the rest between Aston Martin, Williams. I think Ferrari. Can Ferrari finish 5th and 6th? I don't think they can, honestly. I say there's more chance of Antonelli finishing 5th, but really hard to overtake around Imola. But the top 4 drivers of this season, in terms of like the top teams, is Piastri, Verstappen, Russell, and Norris. So hopefully we can get a good battle tomorrow. But that is it for your F1 Imola Grand Prix Quali recap. Till next time, peace.